Hi, I'm Britt.
And my name is Alyssa.
And this is Skeletales.
And this is the podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
Typically, at this part of the podcast, I would have a really clever grandma, but I cannot wait. You have some Robin news that I have to know right now. I'm not even going to waste time. Can you please tell me what's going on?
The Robin. Oh man, the saga continues, Britt. Okay, so the other day I was in the bathroom. I was getting ready, brushing my hair, brushing my teeth. I've gotten used to the thunk of a robin bashing against my window. It's obnoxious.
Daily.
It's annoying. Daily.
Yeah.
It's just part of the background noise. A big old and it's usually a few pecks and stuff. But that day it was a big, this was last Friday, a big thunk. It was a loud one. And I was like, ooh, at first I was like, oh, fucking Robin.
Shook.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was like, fucking Robin. And then I was like, ooh, that didn't seem I don't think he could be okay. That seemed like a big one. So I went over to the window where I thought he hit and I looked down and I see him laying on the ground outside. And that's when I grabbed my coat, I grabbed my phone, I start rolling. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's done. Oh my God. And so he's out there on the ground. And I was like, dude, are you okay? And immediately I felt bad a little bit. I was like, I was just kidding. I'm not going to punch you. Although if I wanted to, it would have been real easy. Fair game. Unconscious. That's not cool, though. I'm not going to go punch a fucking bird.
A dead robin.
Like a tiny dead robin in the face. And so he, but yeah, he did not look good. I thought his little chest, sometimes they stun themselves. So I thought his chest might be moving and I was staring, but no. And his eyes were open and his neck was crooked. And I was like, oh man.
He did.
He broke his neck. And I was like, oh my God. And so, the date was April 22nd, and the year is 2022. And so it kind of blew my mind because April 22nd is the anniversary of my dad's death. And so I always I just hate the day. I see it coming. I always, dread it. That's the word. I'm kind of dreading it. I know I'm do I make this appointment for the 22nd? I just hate it. I want to skip ahead. I just want to get through it. But so the fact that, this happened on that day,
holy shit. It gives me chills. That gives me chills.
Because I was feeling a little distressed by this bird. One, it was waking me up way too early every morning. I was very just feeling sleep deprived, and just bad things seem to be happening.
What does it mean?
I don't know. And so, but also I was 4/22/22, 2 + 2 = 4, and 2 all the numbers just and then it's 22 years, and he died on the 22nd.
Strings across your bedroom and numbers flying over your head.
Connecting the dots. I'm like, what does it mean? Yeah, and I'm like, did my dad intervene or something?
Your dad, say on his death anniversary, comes to see you every year. Mm-hmm. And he sees this fucking robin messing with your shit, waking you up early. And he was like, not with my baby girl. And then he was used his ghost powers to just propel it extra hard or something.
Give him an extra push.
Understand. Yes. I don't understand the physics of ghosthood, but maybe your dad's looking out for you. He's like, you know what? Get a little TLC. Sleep in tomorrow. You deserve it.
Maybe that's it. I thought you were gonna say that he embodies, he comes to visit me, so he was the robin, but the rules is that if he gets one day to embody a creature, but that creature's gotta die on that day.
Oh my God. Oh, how nightmarish. That actually could be a movie, though.
That could be. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't know.
If anybody out there has any clues or feelings or comments about this, please email us. I feel like I need some
Closure,
resolution.
something.
Yeah,
I was
closure.
like numerology wise, like 4/22/22.
It is so wild too that it happened on that day. Oh,
And I always dread that day. Like I see it coming. I'm just like, ugh, I hate it. Like I hate it. It's Earth Day. Usually I will go out and like pick up trash or something. Like I'll try to make something good of it. But I just still am like, my brain is always somewhere else. Like, and I'm not a fan. But okay. And then I'm like, maybe I felt in the moment that the spell was broken, like just the timing of it all. I was like, this has got to be done. But maybe that was wishful thinking.
There's more.
There's more.
Right.
Okay. So news update. So I, of course, what do I do when I find dead animals?
Oh, you take a picture of them.
Photo op.
So you can draw it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I took a picture of our little, my feathered friend, who real quick became my friend and not my nemesis.
Now that it's cold and lifeless.
I flipped that switch real quick. And I sent Mitch a picture. I was like, I didn't say anything. I just sent him a picture of the dead bird. And he was immediately like, not the same bird. I was like, what?
What?
Huh? What? I'm like, no, it's got a red breast, whatever. Then little Milo comes home from school, looks at the bird. That's not the bird. I was like, what the fuck, Milo? Like, what? And so I'm like, okay, fine. And I do a Google search, and sure enough, it's a thrush, and it is not a robin. Okay. And so I was like, you know what? It still counts. I don't care. A fucking bird busting its neck, dying on the window while I'm right there on the anniversary of my dad's death. No one's taking this away from me. Maybe it was like the magic spell. Like you said, Dad sent the bird. It's going to just break the curse. It's going to break the curse. But then Sunday morning, I think, it Sunday morning? We were in bed and I hear Mitch like, fuck, shut up, or whatever. And we hear that pecking, and he's got a video of the bird just jumping up from the bottom, from like where the fucking dead bird died, where the dead bird was, jumping up and flapping up into frame of the window and then back down.
God.
Like the asshole can't even see his reflection from that angle. I don't know what he is doing. He's just jumping up, slamming into our window, going back down the ground.
Is that the word I'm thinking of?
Incessant.
Not in non-stop.
Or a zombie.
Non-fucking stop. Or a fucking zombie. From the spot where the dead bird is. What is he doing?
I don't know. So now I'm like, all the meaning.
Oh, Lord.
I'm not sure. I don't even know. Like, I feel like I was like, it made a good story.
Whether it's asshole Robin or not, there's still meaning.
Sure. Okay. It's all, what does Psychic Alex always say? Yeah, it's all about the intention, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, can you just like intent that Robin to like follow the thrush into its cold grave?
He was like, I'm still here, fuckers. Like he was just like, it wasn't me. Like it was just a big, like he was in on it. I feel like now the Robin was in on it. We're going to give them false hope.
He knew that ghostly rush was going to kill some bird at the window. And he's like, I'm taking a vacation day. Yes. Oh, thrush, did you hear this window over here is real great?
I was fucking scheming. I don't know. So the jury's out. I just need to get out of April. That's what this is.
Into May. We're almost there. Yeah. Alyssa, do we just talk about dead birds and bad omens?
Not always, Britt. We tell true tales of the strange, unusual, and paranormal.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh.
I have some good paranormal stories tonight.
Do
you have some stories?
I do. I do have some stories. All right. So tonight we're going to try not to fuck up. Don't fuck up.
No fuck ups.
No fuck ups. I gotta edit this tonight. We have to record and edit it tonight. So
okay. I'm going to be perfect. Alyssa.
Yes.
I have a story for you.
Oh my God, I'd love to hear it.
And I'm going to tell it perfectly.
Thank you. No fucks up. No fucks up.
No fucks ups.
No fucks ups. All right, go.
Linda says, have you ever watched a movie where the person in the movie hears a sound and instead of calling the police or leaving, they do something really stupid like investigate the noise, and we, the movie watchers, are left yelling at the idiot, "What are you doing, moron? And don't go in there." Well, I guess you can tell where I'm going with this. Yes, that's right. I'm now in the club of the idiots, just like in the movies. One afternoon in the late spring.
What?
Why are you shaking your head?
Because I'm thinking silly Linda.
Silly Linda. Perfect.
Don't do
I thought
that.
I said something wrong.
No, I was thinking the same thing that you're thinking while you're watching the movie. I'm like, Linda, don't do that.
What the hell? One afternoon in the late spring, I just came home from running errands for the day and was happy to be home to rest. My husband was at work and my children were in school, so I was all by myself. As I opened my front door and stepped inside my house, I heard a very loud noise above me. Boom! It sounded like someone was up in my attic moving boxes around and dropped a few of them. I live in the country, and even if squirrels or raccoons were working as a team, there was no way they would be strong enough to move boxes. So they, the animals, were in the clear. The noise continued for about another half a minute as I stood there trying to decide what to do. Now, a normal person would just walk right back outside the door and call the police, but apparently I fell into the opposite category. As I ran toward the kitchen to grab a weapon, all I kept thinking was that there was an intruder in the house, and at the same time hoping that it was a ghost instead of someone coming to kill me.
I agree.
Imagine what my life is like when I'm rooting for a ghost. As I opened the drawer to get a weapon, you would think I would grab a knife, a pair of scissors, etc. But what do I grab instead? A spatula. Why did I grab a spatula? I have absolutely no idea. Apparently, it was my go-to weapon of choice. Now I'm thinking, how am I going to open the attic door? I'm too short to reach the attic door in the ceiling without the help of a ladder or step stool. So here I am with a step stool in one hand, a spatula in the other, trying to walk very quietly so the intruder won't get me, and mumbling under my breath, "Please be a ghost, please be a ghost," over and over. I finally made it to the attic door and opened the step stool. Unfortunately, it ended up being very loud since my stupid step stool was very difficult and it took a lot of maneuvering to get it open. I thought, this is it, I'm a goner. I stood very still in a panic, waiting. Whoever it was up in the attic chose that very moment to start knocking things around again. Needless to say, I caught some air. After freezing for another few seconds, I figured that it was now or never. So I opened the door and rushed up the stool, flapping my spatula back and forth as fast as I could. Now, I'm not sure what I thought was going to happen. Maybe the intruder had a phobia of pancakes or spatulas, but nothing happened. It got really quiet. All the noise stopped. I waited and did the next stupid thing. I very carefully climbed the rest of the way into the attic, but didn't go any further. What if the intruder was behind one of the many boxes? That's when I noticed that the attic was colder than it should have been during this time of year, and it felt like something was watching me. As I gazed towards the end of the long attic, it seemed darker than the rest of the attic, and that's when I noticed one of the boxes move from its place. I threw my spatula toward the ghost-moving box and shot down the ladder, slamming the door as I went. It was a rough and tumble climb down, causing me to land on my butt. And before you ask, no, I did not go back up to get my spatula. I now have a pretty new blue ghost hunting attic weapon. I did see my attic spatula a month later, though. I am just not sure who returned it.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any guesses?
Do I have any guess? Wait, do you know the answer? You're looking at me like you know the answer.
I don't. I just have a theory. I listened to this podcast, Criminal, with Phoebe Judge. She's my favorite. I love it. But she told a story one time about a girl in her 20s living in an apartment, and she kept noticing food was missing because, as it turns out, there was a motherfucker living in her attic.
Yeah.
I don't think this woman had a ghost, but she very quite possibly could have had an attic squatter.
Yes, a man in the walls, a man in the attic. Like, that is absolutely more terrifying to me than a ghost.
For sure.
Yeah. I know I've seen a video of something like that too, where someone set it up in their like New York City apartment because they were noticing the same thing, that food was missing. And so overnight they recorded, I believe it was a girl, like somehow coming down from this crawl space in her apartment, and she pissed in her sink. That's the thing that really stood out. That's how she was using and drinking their milk from the carton, pissing in their sink, eating their food, and then climbing back up into their little attic hidey hole. That's not the only story I've heard about this. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay.
It does.
Although we can count that as like spooky and maybe not paranormal, but spooky for sure.
Oh, yeah. Strange and unusual. Pocket. I mean, that's not a normal thing to have a fucker living and squatting in your attic. I will say, in the moment of panic, for her to grab a spatula, not the smartest. Like, I mean, I've been in moments where I grab the nearest thing.
You thought you had an intruder in your house and you grabbed the flimsiest little ruler.
Last week.
What were you going to do? Slap them briskly with it?
No, it's got a real sharp edge on this ruler.
Okay, I have that same exact ruler. It could, I guess poking it in the eye, maybe.
Oh, no, this would do some fucking damage. I could slice a throat with this ruler. 100%.
Hardly.
Oh, my
Hardly.
God.
No blood would be drawn. Maybe a little bruise in the shape of a triangle.
Challenge. I'm going to bring it next time we're together. I'll bring the ruler.
Why do I have to be there? Throw it at the robin, see what happens.
Oh, it would decapitate the robin in a second. Very easily.
That ruler is not a Chinese throwing star.
Dude, it's got some sharp corners on it. I mean, okay, great. No, I just felt like I'd have some real good leverage. I'd be like, ha-cha! It would hurt like a fucking bitch if I got you at the corner of this, and it would slice. You'd be bleeding.
Okay, here's the question. Is it a rubber spatula or is it a metal spatula? Okay. Because I have a pretty hefty metal spatula that is heftier than that ruler you're flimsying around.
The reason it's flimsy is because it's so thin and razor sharp. That's why it's flimsy, Britt. I was thinking a rounded edge spatula, possibly one of those sharp cornered.
They have those I've got an old school, like real thin one that's sharp on the edges so you can really get under the food.
Yeah.
Like that coming at somebody's throat. I don't know. I think it's reasonable.
Nuns didn't use rulers back in the day for nothing, Britt.
You're still holding strong to the ruler.
I always thought my X-Acto knife would be my go-to, like because I'm real handy with an X-Acto knife, but you gotta be pretty close with that. I think I got the ruler close because I could be further away too, and then
good point.
Pop their eyeball out with it. No, I'm not letting go of it.
Okay, now I feel like I need to watch some YouTube videos on like ruler destruction. Like, what can a ruler do? And then it'll be a 10-second video where it says, not much. Thanks for watching.
What? I think we're going to see. You keep an eye on those social medias, and I will be doing some damage with this ruler.
I'm watching.
Watermelons. Watch out.
Try it. Maybe just start with a water balloon. That could be a good first start. Don't escalate to a watermelon.
Melon. I gotta slice it. Speaking of TikTok,
Uh-huh.
Are you ready for my first story?
Oh my God, so ready. Love the
Okay.
transition. Perfect.
So my first story was actually a story found on TikTok. I don't know if y'all know that that is what I do for my living. I'm a professional TikToker.
Oh, you're so
It's
cool.
stupid. Content creator. That's what I am. You wouldn't guess it by looking at our skeletales, but that's because my real job sucks all my talent from me. Anyway, I'm on the TikTokies quite a bit. And so I stumbled upon this one video from Dr. Joe MD on TikTok. He is a doctor. He talks about all sorts of stuff on TikTok. I don't even know. If you got doctor-y questions, he'll answer them, apparently. He talks about chlamydia of the throat or gonorrhea of the throat. I didn't watch that video. I just saw that was one of his titles. The only one I watched really was this one. And also that one about Colonia High School in New Jersey, how they've realized a bunch of people are getting brain cancer who went to this school, like way higher than like the normal, like,
What was it?
they don't know, but someone like basically a husband and a wife and then like a sister of one of those two, they all got rare brain cancer. And then they realized that like it was over 100 cases of this like rare brain cancer in alumni of this school, alumni and teachers and stuff. And so they think that it's the school. They're not exactly sure what it is. They're thinking maybe some sort of radiation source. Apparently there was a news article maybe 10 years ago or something that a teacher brought in a Geiger counter for her science class to like start Geiger counting, searching for radiation in the classroom and just doing not even that. She had rock samples and they were just doing experiments.
Like maybe she brought some radiation in the building.
Yeah, no. Well, no. They're just trying to kind of demonstrate how a Geiger counter works, maybe test certain rock samples for low-level radiation, which is like a normal thing in certain rocks. It's like, I think granite countertops have some radiation. It's just low levels. It's there. But as she was doing this demonstration, some of the kids were like, ooh, check out the rock samples in this cabinet here and go do that. And so she brought out these rock samples that had just like were in the classroom when she got it and became a teacher, and it just had been there for however long. And the freaking Geiger counter started going nuts. And it was like some rock sample that was like wrapped in
From
plutonium
Chernobyl?
or something
Oh
crazy.
God.
I don't remember exactly. You can Google that. I didn't plan on talking about that. Anyway, so they removed that from the building. They did some research. They're like, oh no, that's not a big deal. Not like whatever the EPA is like, oh, it's didn't really pose a risk. But so that's a separate article from like 2001 or something like that, that was discovered at this school. No one knows exactly how long it had been in the school. They don't know if it's linked to these brain cancer cases, but now there's all these cases of brain cancer. They've put out some detectors. They're not going to know for a month to like if there is radiation or the levels or anything. I don't know if they even know what the old, like this, if they know if it's coming from the site or if it was something on school grounds or what. It's a mystery. Anyway, I think that's how I initially like stumbled. That was the first video I watched of his, but then I found this video. He said that the craziest experience he's had was working in the ER many years ago now, and he had a little girl come in who had fallen into the family's swimming pool, and they were doing CPR, and she had no pulse and no blood pressure, and she wasn't breathing, and there were no signs of life when she, even at the time she arrived at the ER. And so after about 10 minutes of CPR and resuscitation, they actually got a pulse back and they got blood pressure back. And the family arrived and they were obviously extremely distraught. And the father especially was just unconsolable. He's like, I should have known better. I should have known better. It's all my fault. I should have known better. And the doctor's like, no, it's not. These accidents happen. It's an accident. He's like, no, I should have known better. You don't understand. When I was a kid, I almost drowned in a river right behind my house. I started screaming for help, and my grandfather ran out of the house, jumped into the water, and saved my life. But he lost his own life while saving mine that day. And I know. And so now I almost killed my daughter, and it's my fault. I know better. And the doctor is like, it's not your fault. It was an accident. I'm very sorry that happened to you and your grandfather, but it has nothing to do with now. This was an accident. It was an honest mistake. So a day or two later, the little girl regains consciousness. And she's okay. She doesn't have any long-term damage or anything from this experience. And Dr. Joe goes up to see her and the family. And they're obviously extremely grateful and overwhelmed. And they're just ecstatic that she survived this awful ordeal. And he starts talking to the little girl, and she asks, "Do you remember me?" And she says no. And he asks if she remembers any of the nurses, and she says no. And he asks do you remember any of the paramedics? Kind of just trying to get a feel if she remembers any of their encounter or any of this ordeal. And she says no, but I do remember Sam. That's the only one I remember. I only remember Sam. And I said, wait, who's Sam? I don't know if I know Sam. Was Sam the one giving you chest compressions, or was he someone else in the ER? And she says, well, Sam was the one who was holding my hand. And at that point, Dr. Joe is like, there was no one holding this little girl's hand in the ER. And he's like, okay, well, what does he look like? What did Sam look like? And she's like, well, Sam was kind of dressed funny. He was wearing a jacket and a hat. And I'm like, okay, I don't know Sam for sure. But at that point, the father comes over and he picks up his phone and he goes onto Facebook, grabs this picture, shows the little girl a photo and says, is that Sam? And the little girl's like, yeah, that's Sam.
God.
And the dad is like, that is my grandfather, Sam, who saved me from drowning 25 years ago.
Get the fuck out of here.
And Dr. Joe is like, I got goosebumps then. I get goosebumps now retelling you this. It's to this very day. I can't explain it, but it is the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to me in the ER. And it's just unexplainable.
I think everybody freaking got goosebumps just now. Oh my God, that's so good. Sam to the rescue again. Also, the poor dad, having to live with that guilt of he was the reason his grandfather died.
I know. But then his grandfather is there for his daughter when she almost dies in the water too.
So good.
That's why I had to share that one.
Gold.
Loved it.
Gold.
Okay.
That was beautiful. All right, we're zooming.
Yeah.
We're going. This story's from Yvette. When I was 16 years old and my brother was 15 years old, we were home alone. Our parents had left to run some errands. I was on the phone talking to a friend of mine when we both heard static on the line. Shh, and a deep voice on the phone say, I gotta do a deep voice. I'm back. God, why can't I do a deep voice? I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Oh, that's pretty deep.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was good.
Only 16 more times. I thought my friend was trying to scare me, and she thought I was doing the same. So we both hung up. I told my brother, who was in his room watching a movie, what had just happened, and of course he didn't believe me. So I decided to go shower. A couple of minutes later, my brother starts knocking on the bathroom door like crazy and tells me to hurry up, get out, someone's outside. So I hurried up and got dressed. When I walked out of the bathroom, my brother is whispering, and he's telling me that someone was banging on our patio door and the doorknob was moving. I found this hard to believe since our house was surrounded by an 8-foot chain link fence, and we had 3 Rottweilers, which weren't even barking at the time. As we both sat in the living room, someone or something started banging on the patio door. Then it stopped, and we heard footsteps on the roof, as if someone was running back and forth. My brother and I ran into our parents' walk-in closet where my dad kept his rifles locked. Our dad had taught us both how to handle a rifle, as he would occasionally take us out deer hunting. So we knew the safety and the danger of handling that kind of a weapon. My brother unlocked and loaded my dad's rifle. We walked slowly towards the living room, both freaked out since our dogs still weren't making a noise. As we went to sit down, the banging on the door started again and continued as we grabbed the phone to call 911. As soon as we picked up the phone, we saw my parents' car pulling up into the driveway, and our dog started running towards the front. Then, all of a sudden, the banging stopped. Our parents walk in, and I run up to them with tears running down my face, and my dad seeing my brother holding the rifle in his hand. He was upset since we had always been told never to grab his rifles, but we explained what had happened. My dad hurried, grabbed his flashlight and his rifle from my brother, and went to check outside. When he came back in, he told us that there was nobody outside, and there was no way in hell that someone was banging on the patio door since the outside door that leads into the patio was locked. My mom then confessed that she didn't want to say anything before, but that same exact thing had happened to her before while we were at school. And Yvette says that this happened in Baytown, Texas, which is about 8 minutes away from the San Jacinto Battleground historic site, which isn't terribly far if we were to go back into time when we talked to Maverick, the ghost tour guide from that battle right over there. Ooh. So who knows if it's related, but
I'm back. That sounds foreboding though. That I'm back. I'm back. I don't like that. I think, isn't that like classic Poltergeist too? Is that?
Oh my God. And then I feel like teenagers are extra susceptible to like blowing things out of proportion.
Yes, freaking out. I think because they know a little more. Like as kids, they're kind of just like naive, and then they have like that taste of like reality at that age, and then it just like spirals from there.
Well, and then when you're living in this house, 8-foot fence, 3 Rottweilers, you're like, I'm safe, I'm good, no worries, not a worry in the world. And then it's like, someone's trying to fucking break in, and these dogs aren't doing a motherfucking thing.
An 8-foot fence is a big fence. Like that raises
very tall.
All sorts of other questions. Like what? Like why do you have an 8-foot fence? Why? Are you keeping something out? I don't ever want to answer the phone again. Some of these phone call stories. Speaking of phone call stories that are creepy as fuck.
Oh, love it.
S says,
beautiful.
I was probably 4 years old and had one of those plastic play phones. You know, the ones that Fisher Price made. Do you know what I'm talking
yes.
about? Okay.
Clear as a bell, and there's a string attached to it. Yes.
I knew my dad's work number. We called him a lot from the house phone, and it was a really easy set of numbers to remember. So I dialed it. He, or whatever it was, answered, and I talked to him. I told him to bring candy home for us and hung up. He actually did bring us candy home that night as a surprise and had no idea what I was talking about when I told him I asked him for it that day. Again, this was a plastic play phone in the early 1980s, and no way it was actually connected.
What? That's awesome.
It's magic.
Magic.
It's not even, it's like, is it creepy if it continued on? But
this the one time, and her request is candy, and her dad does it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Do you remember your childhood phone number?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You still do? Me too. Yeah. Clear as a bell. Do we tell it?
Do you want to know it?
Yeah, I want to know it. What is it?
No one wants to know.
Nobody wants to know our phone numbers. Prank call. I just wanted to know if you remembered it because I did.
That could be the Patreon. People want to pay extra for that kind of details.
for our childhood phone numbers. Yes.
I actually have another little phone number one too.
Perfect.
Do you want to hear another one real quick?
Absolutely.
And then, because my other
hopefully
one
it connects to my next story so I can do a good segue.
It connects. Operator, can you connect Britt's story to mine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my other phone story is from Kay, and she says, after my husband died in a car wreck, I drove to the accident site, asking questions to which no one had an answer. On the long ride back, my phone rang, and it said unknown. This was 2007, and I had a Razr flip phone. I answered it, and all I heard was white noise, static, kind of words I couldn't make out. Here's the creepy part. Even though I answered the call, it also saved to my voicemail. I played it over to the phone to my son, and he started freaking out, yelling, "Stop it! Stop playing it!" I asked him what was wrong, and he said he kept hearing, "It wasn't an accident. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't an accident."
That's it?
That's it.
Oh my God. Oh. Wow.
Isn't that
I
freaky?
have questions. Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good story.
That's a creepy one.
Did you say who that was from?
That was from Kay.
Kay. Ooh, good one, Kay. This story is from Harry. He says, one summer night, I was headed from Lewisburg, North Carolina to Wilmington, North Carolina. I just left the city of Wilson and was heading out in the country. It was one of those sticky, hot Carolina nights, and the air conditioning was broken in the truck I was driving. Oh, I should have prefaced he's a truck driver.
Okay.
But now we know. I guess it says it in the story. I was several miles outside of Wilson when I noticed a lady walking on the side of the road. It was 2 a.m. and I thought she must have had a car breakdown, so I stopped and asked if she needed a ride. Mm-hmm. She climbed up in the cab of the truck, and as soon as she got in the cab, it got freezing cold. I turned on my heater and asked her where she needed to go. She asked if I knew where Blacksburg was. I said I did and drove this road often. There wasn't much out there except a country store and a flashing yellow light. She asked to be let off at the store as her brother lived across the street from the store. Now, I noticed she was dressed neat. Her hairstyle was from the 60s, kind of puffed up and heavy with hairspray. I didn't think much about it because a lot of ladies still wore it that way around here back in the 80s. As we headed down the road, I tried to make some small talk with her, but I could tell she wasn't interested in talking much, so after a while I stopped trying. When I got to the place she wanted to be let off at, I pulled into the store yard and stopped. I told her I was getting out to help her down from the cab, as it was pretty easy to fall while getting out. I jumped out of the truck and walked over to help her out. When I opened the door to her side of the truck, that's right, Alyssa. She was gone. It was a bright moonlit night, and no way she could have gotten out without me seeing her. I looked across the road and could see a house a good ways off the road. I looked around and didn't see her anywhere. I climbed back in the truck, and the heat in the cab nearly knocked me out. It was no longer freezing in that truck. There was nothing else to do but cut off the heater and head to the road. That afternoon, when I rode past where I'd stopped, I saw that old house in the daylight, and I could tell that it hadn't been lived in for many, many years.
Oh, I love it. I knew where it was going. It kind of had the vibe of one of those scary stories you tell in the dark, that book, like those books.
Oh,
a
yes,
bit, you know, but her like The tinsel was left on my seat, but she was nowhere to be found. I totally wanted him to go knock on the brother's door and see, but no one had lived
And this
there.
the decrepit old house where nobody lives.
2 a.m. I don't know. That's not a good time to be picking anybody up off the side of the road. Ooh, I love that. I love it. Love it. Great story. Beautiful.
I think he told another story about one time when he worked at a cemetery. So I might tell that one next week.
Ooh, I love that. I'd love to hear his story.
Yeah, Harry's a good storyteller. I like it.
If you have any stories like Harry, or have you ever received a call from the afterlife?
Oh my God, even if it was a scary prank call, I am like cool with those.
Oh yeah.
Tell us.
Hell yeah. You can write us at the hotline. Nope, I can't do this part. You can write us, tell us about it at the hotbox, right into the Skeletales hotbox at skeletalespodcast@gmail.com. Or you can call in and tell Britt about it at the hotline.
Spooky calls to us at 302-689-DEAD, 302-689-3323. We are on all the social medias. Just search Skeletales or Skeletales Podcast, and we are there. You can message us over there. We will eventually see it at some point, but email really is the best. We have a merch shop where you can help us keep this podcast going and buy a t-shirt or a mug or a notebook or a sticker. Any of these fun things, that is on our linktree on Instagram or at skeletalespodcast.etsy.com.
If you would like to buy us a drink or a coffee or anything like that, I believe that's also on the linktree way at the bottom.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
We'd use it to really pay bills. Not coffee, but coffee's good too.
True. You say that. Tomorrow morning after I edit this, I will very much enjoy that hot cup of joe.
Oh my God, you're going to need like 4 of them.
Oh my gosh, I will. Real quick, I have feedback. I don't know if it's a hot brag, what this category falls into.
If it's not a hot brag, do I want to hear it?
It's
okay. Well, you've already started, so you might as well tell me. Although, oh shit, is it about my nasally voice?
No, it isn't. It isn't. It isn't. Okay. So I have said I think my mom listens to the podcast. She's told me she does. Apparently, she does, and she wasn't thrilled. She was not thrilled, Britt, with the No, that's fine. She talks like a sailor. Where do you think I get it? But then she denies it. She'll deny it. Like, oh, listen to your mouth. Oh, I wish you didn't swear so much. Like, I learned
what's
it
the
from
mom
watching.
feedback? I need to know.
She is a little offended that we insinuated / accused her of stealing holy water. And performing rogue baptisms. Actually, she did not deny that part.
Oh my God, I love your mom so much. You know what? I'll take that criticism any day. Yep, we can put that in the crypt of corrections. Alyssa's mom did not steal holy water.
She did not steal holy water though either. She really beat around the bush. She really beat around the bush there, Mom. I don't know. She's doing the Lord's work, and that's all that matters. However, she gets it.
Your mom told me something one time. Oh my God. You know what she said? Haunt y'all later.
Oh. Good night. Oh wait, haunt you later.
You just say it.
Haunt you later.
Got you so good.
Good night. You got me so good. I was like, where did she tell you that? At my baby shower? When did I chat with my mom?